Hello everybody and welcome to Jeff the Pharmacist. It's awesome to have you here. Today I want to talk about advice for new pharmacists. So there's a class of pharmacists that kind of graduated in May, the 2019 class, and they're probably coming into like where they're first starting to practice. And I would say when I first started being a community pharmacist, it was a bit of a stressful experience, and it lasted a while. I think I was stressed out, probably the most stressed out I've probably ever been in my entire life, for like 6 months. So it can be a little bit harrowing. It definitely helps if you've been a technician and if you've had good people that you've worked with, good pharmacists, and you kind of can draw from that experience when you encounter difficult situations. I think the most important thing is to communicate with your patients or your customers or whatever, just communication. A lot of times customers will say things that you think are bizarre. Like they might say, I don't pay anything. And you're like, what? Like, this is not Europe, you know? What do you mean you don't pay anything? And but that deserves further investigation. They're not usually lying, so if you can communicate, and it really helps if you're in the same store all the time. It really helps if you can develop a rapport with people, maybe even like a kind of almost like a friendship, like an acquaintancy, like it's not like I'm gonna go hang out at your house later, but like a, you know, hey, how's it going? What's the, how, you know, if you know a little bit about them and you treat them like people, they might treat you like people. So, you know, you ask them, how's it going? And you can ask them, you know, if you're filling a prescription and you know, you already know something about them, you can say, how's it going or whatnot. And you can kind of check up on them, and that really helps go a long way, especially when it comes time for prior authorization and you have to explain that to them. They'll be less likely to, you know, accost you verbally. You know, if they already kind of have a relationship, like a kind of a relationship, not a relationship, but a relationship with you, then they're less likely to want to burn that bridge. So I find that helpful to communicate. Like, for instance, I interviewed at a XYZ chain, whatever, and they asked me, what do you do if your computer system stops working or your printer doesn't work? So you might want to answer that question as you kind of like, you kind of like slap your head and look really flustered and run around. But no, what you do is you need to communicate with the people that are coming in and tell them that there's going to be a disruption in service. And you really need to basically say that, you know, like, I can't really do much because I'm waiting on my printer to be fixed and I don't have a backup printer. So really the key is communication. And if you are in kind of an argument like where you have to say no to somebody, try to minimize the amount of times you have to say no to somebody. But if you do and you really feel you need to, less is more. Explain to them why you have to say no. Make sure when you say your reason, make sure it's a good reason, not something you made up. If it's not a good reason, then maybe you shouldn't be saying no. But if it's a good reason, explain it to them. And then say, sorry, sir or ma'am. Don't get into a back and forth. If they insult you or whatever, don't get into a back and forth. Just because everything is going to go into some email they're going to send to your superiors. So if you just say as little as possible, you're usually better off. So with insurance issues or any other issues, it's extremely important to communicate. For me, something that helps me as far as like stress and stuff of the job, meditation helps, and exercise and diet. So especially meditation, just I mean, you can look at what meditation is, but just, you know, sitting quietly somewhere is a form of meditation, you know, focusing on your breathing. But that just time away from internet, TV, sitting quietly, not reading or anything for like 10 minutes, it has a cleansing effect, and that can help with not responding immediately to external sort of things that happen. Like even you're driving, somebody flicks you off, like maybe don't chase them down, maybe don't wave a gun at them, like maybe you feel like it, but meditation kind of helps not snapping to doing something terrible, yelling at a customer, throwing their drugs at them, whatever. If there's any management initiatives that come down, it's important for you to prioritize them. So like if they say, okay, we're all going to wear the sweater, like the local team sweater, and it's mandatory, you gotta do it. So, and do it immediately. Go out and do it. Like it's how it is now. If you don't want to comply, maybe look into operating your own business. But for the time being, you need to comply with whatever the management initiatives are. Know what your goals are, just so you can be clear with what you're trying to do. Know where you are, like if you have to hit a certain number of vaccinations or whether, know kind of where you stand and know, oh, you're behind, I need to really like bring mom and dad in there, bring the brother, bring your friends in so you can kind of catch up or whatever. I would suggest not making things up when you talk to people. Customers are going to expect you to know the efficacy of black cohosh or Sambutal or whatever. If you don't know, you can tell them you don't know. It's okay to not know things about drugs. There's enough. You could study all day and not know everything about drugs, so it's okay to say you don't know or that you need to look it up. It's better not to just shoot from the hip, and it's okay to have an opinion about things. And sometimes when a customer comes up, a lot of times they want an answer. They want a specific answer. So just keep that in mind. Like, there's a lot of times people come up and they seem like they're asking for advice, but they just want you to confirm what they're saying. However you deal with that is your choice, but it's like 30% of people that ask for advice, they just want you to say that yes, XYZ supplement is great for hair loss or whatever. And this is one thing, like dealing with, if you're not a floater when you start out and you're in your store and you deal with floaters, don't blame everything on floaters. It's not easy to come into a store and adjust to the way that other people do things. So try not to blame everything on floaters. And if you want them to do something, you need to tell them. So I hope you all found this interesting. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks a lot.